Today we continue to listen Anattalakkhana Sutta. First we have to recite Anattalakkhana Sutta Pali. We will recite Rupa and Vedana, number 1 and number 2, starting from introduction, Evo Me Suttam. Together. Evo Me Suttam, Eka Samayam, Bhagava Varanasiyam Viharati Isipatne Mikadaye Tadrako Bhagava Pinjavakiye Bhikkhu Amandesi Bhagavati Bhattante Deveku Bhagavato Pijasaso Bhagava Itadavoja Rupam Bhekave Nata Rupinja Idam Bhekave Atta Abhavesam Naira Rupa Abhadaya Samviteya Labeta Charupe Evo Me Rupa Hotu Evo Me Rupa Mahasiti Yasamaja Kovekove Rupa Nata Tasama Rupa Avadaya Samvitati Nachalavati Rupe Evo Me Rupa Hotu Evo Me Rupa Mahasiti Vedana Bhekave Nata Vena Jahidam Bhekave Atta Abhavesam Naira Vedana Avadaya Samviteya Laveta Cha Vedanaya Evo Me Vedana Hotu Evo Me Vedana Mahasiti Yadamaja Bhekave Vedana Nata Tasama Vedana Avadaya Samvitati Nachalavati Vedanaya Evo Me Vedana Hotu Evo Me Vedana Mahasiti. English translation. Thus have I heard, at one time, the Blessed One was residing in the dear sanctuary of Isipadana, near the town of Varanasi. Then the Blessed One addressed a group of 5 monks. They replied thus, Yes, Venerable Sir, the Blessed One said this, Monks, Rupa, material body, is not self, soul or living entity. Monks, if body was self, it would not tend to inflict or distress. It would also possible to say, let my body be thus, be thus. Monks, in fact, body is not self, since it tends to inflict and distress. And it is not possible to say of body, let it not be thus. Monks, feeling with soul or living entity, monks, feeling with self, it will not tend to afflict or distress. And it will also possible to say, let my feeling be thus, let my feeling not be thus. Monks, in fact, feeling is not self. Since it is not self, it tends to afflict and distress. And it is not possible to say of feeling, let it be thus, let it not be thus. The doctrine of anatta is only found in Buddhism. So this doctrine of anatta makes Buddhism unique among religions because almost all other religions believe in the opposite of the doctrine of another doctrine in the teachings of the Buddha. It is important that we understand anatta first in theory, and then we must understand anatta through the practice of my disciple Venerable Kundinya Wapa Badiyamana Asiji. For the first time, 2 months after his enlightenment, Buddha taught these 5 disciples his first sermon. Actually, he took the 5 aggregates one by one and then said that rupa or corporality is anatta, vedana or feeling is anatta, sanya or perception is anatta, Sankara or mental formations or volitional activities are anatta, and vijnana or consciousness is anatta. So Buddha taught that all these 5 aggregates or all namarupa, mind and matter are anatta. Loka, world, Vinaya Loke Bija Domanasam. You remember this Pali? Buddha analyzed the whole world into the 5 aggregates. There's nothing in addition to the 5 aggregates that we can call a world. So Buddha said that these 5 aggregates are not atta. It amounts to saying that there is no atta, no self at all in the world. Although the Buddha did not say that there is no atta, when he said these 5 aggregates are not atta, it amounts to saying that there is no atta. There is only the continuous flow of namarupa, continuous flux of mind and matter. What is it that is anatta? What is it that is described as anatta? You understand that Buddha declared the 5 aggregates to be not Atta. There's no Atta apart from Namarupa, mind and matter. How do we understand the nature of Anatta? To understand the true nature of Anatta, we have to practice Satipatthana meditation. Today we listen the Vedana contemplation of feeling Vedana, Vedana su Vedana Nupasi Viharati. Meditators dwell contemplating the feeling in the feelings. We have many kinds of feelings, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or neutral feeling. Feeling here must be understood to be mental. When you have pain, you feel the pain, and that mental feeling is called, in Pali, Vedana. Whenever you say Vedana, you mean feeling pain, feeling pressure, or indifference. So meditators who contemplate the pleasantness, unpleasantness, or neutrality of feelings are said to be practicing the contemplation on feelings. In the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha said, Sukham va vedana vedayama no sukham vedana vedayamiti pajanati. Dukkam va vedana vedayama no dukkam vedana vedayamiti pajanati. Adukkam sukham va vedana adukkam sukham vedayamiti pajanati. How does a bhikkhu meditators dwell on contemplating the feeling in the feelings? Bhikkhus, when experiencing a pleasant feeling, the bhikkhu meditator knows, I experience a pleasant feeling. When experiencing a painful feeling, he knows, I experience a painful feeling. When experiencing neither painful nor pleasurable feeling, he knows, I experience neither painful nor pleasurable feeling. Whatever feeling you experience, meditator must take note of it and observe it. These are the instructions given by the Buddha about the practice of vipassana meditation. When you have painful feelings in the body, pain or numbness or stiffness, you focus your mind on the place of pain and take note of the pain by contemplating pain, 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 simply note pain. And when you have a good feeling, a pleasant feeling, then you just contemplate pleasant, pleasant, or good, good, or happy, happy. What meditators know about different feelings is very different from what people who do not meditate know. When you are feeling good, you know that you are feeling good. And when you are feeling bad, you know that you are feeling bad. But it is not meditation. Now you see many people are very proud. Some people are very miserable, very depressed, because they do not understand the feeling, the nature of feeling. So practitioner of Vipassana meditation, see and observe the feeling just as feeling, not as the feeling of a person, not as a personal feeling, and not as a permanent or lasting feeling. Just as in the practice of knowing, walking, when you are walking. So meditators should here also understand feeling, pleasant, feeling, unpleasant, etc. You have to see the natural phenomena as they really are. Meditator try to see the true nature. Meditator try to see the natural phenomena as they really are. So the knowledge of meditators is diametrically opposed to the knowledge of ordinary people who do not meditate. The mind of ordinary people who do not meditate cannot remove the concept of being and cannot do away with the view of self. So it cannot be inside meditation. However, the mind of meditator can see that there is just feeling, there are just pleasant feeling, there are just unpleasant feeling. There's no one who feels apart from the feeling itself. There's no experiencer. The feeling cannot be said to belong to any person or being. And you also know that this feeling does not last. When you continuously noting that feeling, you understand more deeply. So when you have a painful feeling and you keep noting this feeling as pain, 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 it may take 10 or 15 minutes until you come to see that this pain is not constant. It is not one solid pain. You observe very closely, and there are different stages of pain and different moments of pain. One pain comes and goes, then the next pain comes and goes. You see, pain is not one continuous thing. When you see through the continuity, you come to see the impermanence of things, because the illusion of continuity cannot cover, cannot hide reality. When you think of continuity, you think of things being permanent, as lasting for a long time. But when continuity is removed, you come to see the rising and fading away, the appearing and disappearing of feeling, the appearing and disappearing of mind and matter. So the understanding of meditators is much deeper than that of ordinary people who do not meditate. So there are different feelings according to Satipatthana Sutta. First, there are pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and then neutral feeling. Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, and Adukkha Sukha Vedana or Upekha Vedana. You need to remember three Vedana. Can you follow me? Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukkha Sukha Vedana, or Upekha Vedana. Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukkha Sukha Vedana. So Adukkha Sukha is Upekha. So, and Sukha Vedana, pleasant feeling, Dukkha Vedana, unpleasant feeling, and Adukkha Sukha Vedana, neutral feeling. Can you follow me? Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling. So three feeling, Sukha, Dukkha, and Adukkha Sukha or Upekha Vedana. And then you may have pleasant worldly feelings which are connected with things you come across in your life. Sights, sounds, smell, taste, odors, thoughts, and things you think you possess, such a husband, a wife, children. This pleasant feeling depends upon worldly things. So it is called pleasant worldly feelings. When you have such feeling, you must be aware of it and take note of it as pleasant. So don't cling to this pleasant feeling. Note it, pleasant, pleasant. That is Samisa Sukha Vedana. So there are three kinds of Samisa: Samisa Sukha, Samisa Dukkha, and Samisa Upekha. Samisa means worldly feeling. When the feeling is connected with things you come across in your life, sight, sound, smell, taste, odors, and thoughts, or things You think you possess such as husband, etc. That is pleasant worldly feelings. So three kinds of samisa: samisa sukha, samisa dukkha, and samisa upekkha. Need to remember, can you follow me? Samisa sukha vedana. Pleasant worldly feelings. Samisa sukha vedana. Pleasant worldly feelings. Samisa dukkha vedana. Unpleasant worldly feelings. Samisa dukkha vedana. Unpleasant worldly feelings. Samisa upekkha vedana. Worldly neutral feeling. Samisa upekkha vedana. Worldly neutral feelings. So worldly is samisa. So when samisa sukha vedana, when you have such a worldly pleasant feeling, you must be aware of it and take note of it. Pleasant, pleasant. Don't cling to that pleasant feeling. Try to take note of it to understand the true nature of this feeling. Sometimes you may have unpleasant feeling. You feel very sad. You are very depressed. Because there is something you possess, something of value that has disappeared and has been taken away from you. Someone of value that disappear, then you get angry, you become depressed, you become sad, and you feel sorry. So these are unpleasant feelings concerned with worldly things. So it can happen to meditators too, when you think of something bad that has happened to you. So when such a feeling arises in you, you must be mindful of this and contemplate it. Depressed, depressed, obsessed, obsessed about whatever it is. So don't be depressed, don't be upset. Try to be aware of that feeling, unpleasant, worldly feelings. Simply note sad, sad, depressed, depressed. And then neutral feeling. Neutral feelings are neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Sometimes when meditators who are practicing vipassana come across sense objects, you feel neither pleasure nor displeasure, nor can you give up the object. Here, neutral feeling accompanied by attachment arise in you. Such feelings are called worldly neutral feelings. Samisa upekkha vedana. It is also called indifference depending on worldly things, or indifference accompanied by delusion or ignorance, Anyanupika. Because that feeling is accompanied by delusion or ignorance. And also you may have unworldly feelings. Unworldly feeling is Niramisa Vedana. Niramisa Sukha, Niramisa Dukkha, and Niramisa Upekha. Niramisa Sukha, pleasant, unworldly feeling. Niramisa Dukkha, unpleasant, unworldly feeling. Niramisa Upekha, neutral, unworldly feeling, or mindful, non-worldly feelings. So need to remember according to Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Can you follow me? Niramisa Sukha Vedana. Pleasant, unworldly feeling. Niramisa Sukha Vedana. Pleasant, unworldly feeling. Niramisa Dukkha Vedana. Unpleasant, unworldly feeling. Niramisa Dukkha Vedana. Unpleasant, unworldly feelings. Niramisa Upekha Vedana. Neutral, unworldly feelings. Niramisa Upekha Vedana. Neutral, unworldly feelings. So you also have unworldly feelings. Niramisa Sukha, Niramisa Dukkha, Niramisa Upekha. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, unworldly feelings. That means feelings that arise during your practice of meditation. When you meditate, you may have good concentration, and you may see the arising and fading away of psychophysical phenomena. Because you are watching continuously and momentary concentration getting strengthened, and you see the true nature, they are fading away as soon as they arise. When you see the true nature of natural phenomena as they really are, you feel happy. You feel so happy at that time that you just want to get up and tell your family, tell your teacher, want to tell your friends about your feeling. You can hardly contain or suppress this feeling. Such a feeling may come to meditators, especially when you have reached the stage where you see the rising and fading away of phenomena, Udyabhaya Jnana. Be careful. Meditators should not experience that feeling with attachment. Meditators should not enjoy that feeling with attachment. You must be aware and you must be mindful of that feeling. If you are so attached to this feeling, you will stay in this stage and you won't be able to make progress. So that is Niramisa Sukha Vedana, unworldly pleasant feeling. And Niramisa Dukkha Vedana, unpleasant, unworldly feeling. Sometimes you cannot meditate And as much as you try, your mind does not stay on the object. And meditators become discouraged and they become depressed. So that is an unworldly, unpleasant feeling. Sometimes meditators have reached the stage of jhana, high concentration level, and then have fallen from jhana. And they experience some sadness or sorrow. So such feeling must be noted, sad, or discouraged, and then you have to overcome. So there is a story of an elder Mahasiva who was very learned in Sri Lanka. It is said that Mahasiva Thera taught 18 groups of students. He was a really great teacher and especially learned in the scriptures. As many as 30,000 monks attained arhatut just following his advice. One day, one of those people reviewed the good qualities in himself and thought of his teacher, and then he reviewed his teacher. The student found that his teacher was still a Putujana, a worldlings, and had not yet attained arhatut. So the student went to teach his teacher a lesson. When he had come to the teacher asked him, "What do you come for?" And the student said, "I want to hear a Dhamma talk from you." And the teacher said, "I have no time, I am very busy." Then the student said, "I will ask you when you go to the village for Armstrong." The teacher said, "Oh no, there will be many people who will ask questions at that time." But the student kept asking for an appointment, but every time the teacher was too busy for him. And at the end, the student told the teacher, "Bande, don't you have time for at least 2 or 3 sitting? If you don't have any time, you won't even have time to die. You are always busy. You are like the back of a chair. You are relying upon other people, but you cannot rely on yourself." The student said, "I don't want anything more from you." Then the student went away. Now the teacher Mahasiva was moved and decided to meditate on this event. The Mahatera Mahasiva thought he would become an arahant in 2 or 3 days. So he did not tell anybody about it. However, he could not attain arhatut. He passed through one rainy season, one wasa, and at the end of the rainy season, he still could not attain anything. He felt sorry, depressed, so he wept, and he decided to practice only 3 postures. He practiced sitting meditation, standing meditation, and walking meditation, not lying meditation, not lying postures. Sitting, walking, standing, only 3 postures he practiced. And he practiced for 29 years. So in the 30th year, at the end of the rainy season, he was still a worldling and had not attained anything. So the Mahatera Mahasiva became very sad and wept aloud. At that time, a deity approached him and wept too. So Mahasiva asked, "Who is weeping here?" The teacher said, and the deity answered, "I am a deity." And teacher asked, "Why are you weeping?" And the deity said to the monk, "Oh, I saw you weeping. I thought I might get 1 or 2 attainments just by crying." So the deity said to the monk, and the bhikkhu monk was deeply moved and said to himself, "Mahasiva, now even the deity is making jokes about you. It is not proper for you to be depressed or sorry." So Mahasiva, the teacher, removed his sorrow, removed his sadness by noting continuously, simply, sad, sad, sad. So that is Niramisa Dukkha. So during the practice of meditation, sometimes regarding the practice, you feel very discouraged and you feel upset. So that kinds of unpleasant feeling have to be noted carefully, diligently. And depression and sorrow overcome. Believe, every day you reminded yourself, Ekayano ayambikwi meko soka pridivana samatikamaya, dukkha domanasana atingamaya. You reminded again and again. This vipassana meditation is the only way to overcome sorrow and lamentation. If you note sincerely and diligently. Now the sorrow and lamentation removed. And then Mahasiva reflect on his virtues, sila. He's so happy that his sila is pure throughout his life, and piti arise. That is Niramisa Sukha. Pleasant, unworldly feelings. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. Finally, Masiwatira became an arahant by noting Niramisa Dukkha Vedana and Niramisa Sukha Vedana, unpleasant, unworldly feelings, and unpleasant, unworldly feelings. Although Masiwatira was well versed in the Tipitaka, it took him 30 years to become an arahant. His obsession with his sorrowful feeling with respect to non-worldly things during meditation had been an obstacle to his attainment. And then neutral feeling during meditation, neutral and worldly feelings. It is called mindful non-worldly feelings. This occurs when you reach higher stage of vipassana knowledge and experience the feeling of neutrality. That is Sankarupika Jnana, knowledge of equanimity. So at this stage, you do not have to put in much effort to contemplating the object. It just comes to you by itself. So at this time, you have this feeling of neutrality, the feelings of equanimity. Such feelings are called neutral, non-worldly feeling, Niramisa Ubhikha Vedana. When this feeling arises in you, you must be mindful of them, you must note of them. Neutral feeling, neutral feeling, neutral feeling. You need to be mindful. So in this way, meditators will be able to be aware of the arising and passing away of whatever feelings you are experiencing. Then you will reach higher and higher stage of vipassana knowledge until you reach the level of attainment. So in the Masatipatthana Sutta, every feeling have to be noted, pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, worldly or non-worldly. When you take note of them, when they arise, you will come to see their arising and passing away of this feeling. And you will come to see that because there is pain, unpleasant object, undesirable object, there are painful feeling. Because there is comfort, there is pleasurable object, there are pleasant feelings, and so on. So you recognize the origination factor of the feeling and dissolution factors of the feeling, or both the origination and the dissolution factors of the feeling. And you may contemplate internally on your own feelings or by inference externally on other people's feeling, or both internally and externally. So this is the way feeling should be dealt during the practice of meditation. So you have to be aware of them, you have to be mindful of them, you have to take note of them. whatever feeling arises. When you see the arising and disappearing of feeling, you won't cling to them. Nachakinji loke upadiyati. Without clinging, you can achieve the realizations of truth. So every feeling have to be noted, and you can discover the true nature of anatta in the aggregates of feeling. So we will continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by noting pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and neutral feeling, by observing worldly feeling and non-worldly feelings, by noting rising, falling, sitting, touching, hearing, smelling continuously and meticulously. May all yogis see the arising and fading away of every phenomena. May all yogis overcome clinging, and may all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So